If you are looking to make the most out of your points and miles, definitely pay attention to when transfer bonuses are going on. There are a few great transfer bonuses available until the end of August, which can help you stretch out your points for even more luxury travel. And in case we haven't met, hello, my name is Julia and I am the founder of GeoBreeze Travel. I personally got about $100,000 worth of travel last year for approximately 90% off by using points and miles. And we typically save our clients more than $30,000 in travel in the first 6 months of working with our team. And we want to provide you with a clear path to luxury travel with these step-by-step tutorials too. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The first transfer bonus that we're going to talk about is transferring from American Express over to British Airways. They currently have a 30% transfer bonus if you do the transfer by September 30th. And instead of looking for a British Airways flight for today's tutorial, I actually want to do something a little bit trickier, and that is to find Iberia flights, which are also part of the Avios program. The way that I would search for these flights is to go to seats.aero, and since seats.aero does not support the Avios airlines like British Airways or Iberia, Aer Lingus, Finnair, or Qatar, what you'll do instead is go to the search tab. I would search for somewhere from the East Coast or the USA over to Madrid, and then I would just pick some date and say plus or minus 180 days if you're just doing this for practice. You can set your minimum number of seats, and then your operating carrier is going to be IB, which is Iberia. Now keep in mind, Iberia only releases up to 2 business class seats per flight, so that is something that you might run into if you have a large family. But what you'll do next, none of these are actually going to show up as Iberia because they're not supported by seats.aero, but you'll just find a route that you like, and then you'll click on the little I information button next to business class. And then you can see which ones have a business class that's direct and operated by Iberia. Those are the ones that you want to go for. For example, this one from Washington, D.C. to Madrid looks like it has one, and then this one from New York to Madrid looks like it has it in business class as well, where it'll be a direct flight from your U.S. airport to Madrid operated by Iberia Airlines. So what we'll do next is search for this on Iberia and make sure that it exists there. You'll go to iberia.com, you'll type in your departure airport, your destination airport, the departure date that you saw on seats.aero. So for this example, it's going to be January 13, 2025, however many passengers you want, whether 1 or 2, and then checkbox Pay with Avios. Then you'll go ahead and click Search. And what you're looking for here is going to be a direct flight as well. Ignore anything where it's going to have a layover in London or something like that, because that is not going to have the points price that we are looking for. What you're looking for instead is something that's direct, and then when you click on the business class option, you should see some rates that are as low as 34,000 Avios per person one way in business class, plus about $118 in taxes and fees. That is a fantastic rate, and it's made even better by the fact that there is a transfer bonus. So even though this is booked through Iberia and not through British Airways, you can still take advantage of the AMEX to British Airways transfer bonus of 30%. And that means you only need to transfer in about 27,000 points, because 27,000 times 1.3 is going to be more than 34,000 points to take this flight, which is amazing. And so at this point, if you're like, but how do I move stuff from AMEX to British Airways over to Iberia? I really like this article by Award Wallet of how to transfer Avios between British Airways, Iberia, Qatar, Finnair, Aer Lingus accounts, etc. And so they have this handy chart that says, okay, if you want to transfer from British Airways to something else, you can use this handy little link. And so when you click Use this British Airways webpage, it'll take you to a balance transfer tool that looks like this, where you log into British Airways and then you select what program you want to transfer to, and then you just type in your frequent flyer number for Iberia. Keep in mind, one other quirk with Iberia is to do this, oftentimes your account needs to be at least 90 days old. So if you ever plan on doing something with Iberia in the future and you want to jump on these really low business class fares over to Spain, go ahead and just make an Iberia frequent flyer account right away. Let it age for 90 days before you can do something like this. But when something like this comes up in the future again, because these transfer bonuses happen pretty regularly, then at least you will already have an Iberia account that's at least 90 days old. You'll have a British Airways account that's at least 90 days old, and you can freely move points back and forth so that you can book this kind of business award ticket for only about 27,000 points per person one way. Are you enjoying these types of videos? If yes, please let me know. Click that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel for even more points and miles tips every week. And if you're just getting started with points, we have a free Points 101 course for you to help you get your next flight or hotel stay covered with points. Grab the free course at geobreezetravel.com/free course or check out the link in the description box. One of our top requested destinations for award search tutorials is Hawaii, and this next transfer bonus tutorial should help you with that. The next transfer bonus that we're going to talk about is AMEX over to Hawaiian Airlines. If you do this before the end of August, then you will get a 20% transfer bonus, which can be great if you are flying to or from Hawaii. Here's an example. Hawaiian Airlines also isn't supported by Seats.aero, but there's a way around this as well, even if you're just using the free version to practice. So what I would do is just log into the free version of Seats.aero if you don't already have an account, and then click on Explore, and then select JetBlue TrueBlue. From here, say that you want to show flights from North America over to anywhere, and the free version is just going to let you search up to 60 days, which is fine for the practice run that we're doing here. In the search bar, type in the letters HA. This is going to be the code for Hawaiian Airlines, which you can oftentimes book through JetBlue. And so the lowest priced flights that you're going to see are obviously going to be the intra-island flights between the different Hawaiian islands. But if you wanted to fly from LAX, or if you wanted to fly from San Francisco, or something like that, you can test your home airports in the search box as well, and then you can see what saver space is available on Hawaiian Airlines. Not only that, but if you wanted to fly between Hawaii and Asia, I've also seen a lot of availability between Honolulu and Incheon Airport in Korea for about 100,000 points in business class. And this would be operated with Hawaiian as well. So let's do a couple of examples. First, let's say that you wanted to do a domestic one from San Francisco over to Hawaii. So in the search bar on Seats.aero, I would say HA space SFO. And then let's look at this one, which is August 30th from San Francisco over to Honolulu. It looks like there's 5 seats left with Hawaiian Airlines. JetBlue's charging 50,000 points per person one way in business class on this flight, but you can get this for a little bit cheaper by going through Hawaiian instead. And so we do all of that because Hawaiian Airlines does not make it easy on their website to find saver space, but if they are selling the saver space on JetBlue, there is a pretty good chance that it is also available on their own website. So next we log into Hawaiian Airlines. We're just going to search for flights one way from San Francisco to Oahu on August 30th for one adult using miles. Go ahead and click search flights. And this is what we're looking for. We are looking for this saver space where the first class option is the same price as main cabin. It's only 40,000 points plus about $6. And make sure that you're looking at the ones that say lay flat seat, because that is going to be obviously the better option versus just the larger recliner chairs that are sometimes on the not so good planes. And instead of 40,000 points, because of the 20% transfer bonus from American Express over to Hawaiian, you only need to move over about 34,000 points, and that'll turn into more than 40,000 points once you apply the transfer bonus. So 34,000 points for a business or first class seat from San Francisco over to Honolulu is not bad at all. Now let's try this for an international route. So going back to Seats.aero in the search bar, instead of HA space SFO, let's do HA space ICN. And this is going to find all of the saver space between Hawaii and Korea on Hawaiian Airlines. And so keep in mind, this is just for the 60 days out, but it looks like there's still quite a bit of availability between Honolulu and Incheon Airport. JetBlue charges about 100,000 points for this. Let's see how much it costs on Hawaiian's website directly. So then we go back to hawaiianairlines.com, click on flights, one way from Honolulu over to Seoul, South Korea on September 15, which was the first date that Seats.aero suggested. We're going to search for one adult, show fare in miles, click search flights. And here we see there's only one ticket left at that price,
but you could fly from Honolulu over to Seoul, South Korea in Hawaiian Airlines business class in the lie flat seat for 65,000 Hawaiian miles. And when you take into account the 20% transfer bonus, you only need to move over about 55,000 AMEX points over to Hawaiian Airlines. That will turn into more than 65,000 points, and then you can go ahead and book this with Hawaiian Airlines if you are interested in flying from Honolulu over to Korea.
If you're in the market for a new card to earn more points, but not sure what card to get, we offer free credit card consultations at geobreezetravel.com/consultations. We will send you personalized recommendations based on your particular goals, budget, and lifestyle. And many of the links that we send out through the free consultation form and the GeoBreeze Travel website are actually referral links from our students in the Points Accelerator program, rather than our own GeoBreeze Travel affiliate links. If you would like for us to send out your links in the future so that you can earn more referral points too, join the Points Accelerator waitlist at geobreezetravel.com/waitlist to be the first to hear about when we open back up for enrollment. In addition to Hawaii, one of the top requested destinations that we get for tutorials is Japan. And here is a transfer bonus sweet spot that lets you fly to Japan for a really low price in business class.
Next up, we are going to talk about a Capital One transfer bonus over to Qantas. If you move Capital One points over to Qantas before September 1st, then you will get a 20% transfer bonus. And there's a couple really good sweet spots with this if you want to go over to Asia or Oceania. Unlike our first two examples, Qantas is actually supported by Seats.Aero, so you don't have to do a weird workaround here. You just click on Explore and then select Qantas Frequent Flyer. Again, if you just want to start practicing with how to do these different tools, the free version of Seats.Aero is completely fine, where you're just searching up to 60 days out, just so that you can get a handle on how to use these different search tools. And so what I would do next is click Show Flights from North America over to Asia. And here's one of my favorite sweet spots to use Qantas for. If you are interested in going to Japan, which I know a lot of you are, then in the search bar, type NRT, which is Narita Airport in Japan, and click on the down arrow next to the word business so that you sort this by business class lowest. And if you are okay flying from either Seattle or Vancouver, you can fly over to Japan for only 75,000 points per person one way in business class. If you want to do this from other airports on the West Coast, then it starts getting a little bit more expensive, like San Diego has a direct flight for 90,000 points, San Francisco 90,000 points, and sometimes there's Los Angeles, but it looks like today it's just showing San Francisco and San Diego. And then from there, it'll get a little bit more expensive, where Las Vegas to Narita is about 105,000 points, and this one is operated by Alaska, and it would route through Seattle anyway. But let's show you how to actually look for these flights and book them on Qantas's website. So let's do Seattle to Narita on the first date that shows up, which is August 25th. What you'll do next is log into Qantas.com, make a frequent flyer account if you don't already have one. It's free to do so. Then you are going to search from Seattle over to Narita, Japan. You're going to search in business class for one adult, say that you're flexible with dates, make sure that you've checkboxed the rewards toggle. We're just searching for one way for now, and type in the date that we found on Seats.Aero, which was August 25th. Then go ahead and click search flights. And then what we're going to do next is scroll down until we see that direct flight in the business reward column. But it looks like for this one, it is not actually available. Sometimes that happens, even though at the time that I'm searching this says it's only been 3 hours, but looks like Seattle to Narita on August 25th does not actually exist. The next option, let's try this date. August 20th says it might have some availability too. So let's just scroll back a few days and click August 20th. And here we do see it, where it's Seattle over to Narita, Tokyo, for only 75,000 points plus $228. Something about this route, I tend to only see them offer up to 2 seats per plane in business class as well. So just another thing to keep in mind if you do have a large family, you probably won't be able to get 3 or 4 seats all on the same flight. But due to the Capital One transfer bonus, instead of needing to spend 75,000 points to fly to Japan, there's a 20% transfer bonus, so you really only need to move over about 63,000 points from Capital One over to Qantas. And then that'll turn into more than 75,000 points after the transfer bonus, and you can go ahead and fly in Japan Airlines business class that way. All right, stick around because there's even more sweet spots with Qantas that are coming up next.
Our last walkthrough covers how you can get a ton of value for a first-class flight to one of the most aspirational destinations. It's one we get a lot of requests for, but it can be a tricky one to book. If you are interested in leveling up your points and miles game and getting even more free trips and upgrades, we have a couple of options for you. The first one is the GeoBreeze Travel Patreon, which you can join starting at just $5 per month through patreon.com/geobreezetravel. Each month, we prepare personalized step-by-step tutorials for the routes that our members request. We also provide open forum group coaching where you can ask any questions that you have about points, miles, credit cards, and anything else. And we talk through some of the tricks that I don't really mention on social media. And if you are looking to get even more free travel with points, and you are a business owner or individual who spends more than $100,000 per year on expenses, we typically save our clients somewhere between $30,000 and $60,000 in travel in the first 6 to 12 months of working with our one-on-one points portfolio management service. And if that sounds like something that you would be interested in, book a free intro chat with us at geobreezetravel.com/intro call to learn more. Okay, here is how to use that Qantas transfer bonus to fly to Fiji or Australia in business or first class.
Another sweet spot with Qantas is if you want to go to Oceania or Polynesia or somewhere like Fiji. So in seats.aero, we're still on the Explore Qantas Frequent Flyer screen. We're going to say Show Flights from North America over to Oceania. And then in the search bar, type NAN. NAN is the airport code for the Fiji airport, and this will show you a lot of different direct flights from Los Angeles or San Francisco or Vancouver over to Fiji, and they are going to be direct flights that you can book on Qantas for only about 82,000 points in business class. So let's make sure that we can find these on the Qantas website. Let's just take the first example that we see, August 4, 2024, from Los Angeles over to NAN. Type all that into Qantas, where we checkbox rewards, one-way, one adult, business class, flexible with dates, Los Angeles, from LAX over to Nandi, Fiji, on August 4, and click search flights. Then we'll scroll down and we see that this is available, operated by Fiji Airways for 82,000 points, plus $28 in taxes and fees for one person, one way in business class. And with the Capital One transfer bonus of 20%, you only need to move over about 69,000 Capital One miles in order to book this per person one way. 69,000 points times 1.2 is going to be more than 82,000 points, so you'll be able to get this flight over to Fiji. But it gets better with the sweet spots with Qantas. Probably the sweetest of sweet spots if you want to use Qantas is if you want to fly over to Australia. So not only can you do this in business class, but you can also see if you can find some first class availability, which is super fun as well. Let's just take this first example, which is on August 20th from Los Angeles over to Sydney, and let's see if we can find first class as well as business class availability. Business class will run you about 108,000 points per person one way with Qantas, and first class looks pretty steep at about 163,000 points per person one way, but let's see if that's a good redemption in a bit. So once again, we go back to Qantas. We just type in that route that we saw on seats.aero from Los Angeles over to Sydney, one person, one way. Let's just do business class for now on August 20th and click search flights. And here we do see the business reward available, and I rarely actually see it on Qantas's own metal, so this is incredible that it's still available there for 108.4 thousand points. Or if you wanted to fly American Airlines metal, it's available for the same price in business class, or American Airlines first class over to Sydney is available for 162.8 thousand points. Now, remember, there is a transfer bonus from Capital One, so if you wanted to do this, instead of paying 108.4 thousand points for business class, you only need to transfer over about 91,000 points. And given how long of a flight this is, it's about a 15 and a half hour flight from Los Angeles to Sydney, 91,000 points for business class is not too bad. If you want to do first class, you don't need to move over all 162.8 thousand. you can just move over $136,000 and then book this first class award ticket. And I know that seems like a lot of points, but if you were to search for this particular flight from Los Angeles to Sydney on August 20th on Google Flights, this says that prices are typical, and that first class flight one way would be about $15,000 or $16,000, which is kind of crazy. I tend to book like weird itineraries where I'm like flying into Australia, then back from Asia, so I do tend to do one-way flights. But if you're going to fly in and out of the same airport, what you might want to do instead to figure out the cents per point, if that's something you're into calculating, to be like, okay, I'm going to be in Australia for 2 weeks. Let's see what this would look like as a round trip flight from August 20th to September 1st, if you wanted to price it out that way. So instead of $16,000 for one way, it's more like $20,000 for round trip, which is still ridiculous, but it's still getting, let's just round and say a $10,000 flight for about 134,000 points once you take into account the transfer bonus, and that means you're getting about 7.5 cents per point, which is rock solid. So those are some of the sweet spots that you can book with Qantas by using the Capital One transfer bonus. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions on any of those.
I hope you found those tutorials useful. Suggestions for future topics are always welcome. And in the meantime, if you enjoyed these tutorials, I think you will enjoy this video next.